Hello, I'm Colonel Celestino Perez, and welcome to my YouTube series on Strategy is Performance. This week is a very special week at the U.S. Army War College. Two important things are happening. The first one is that the students of the class of 2018 are going to graduate this Friday. But the experience ends with the second event, which is for a week-long period. We've invited several guests who are not familiar with the military to come and speak to the students over the course of 4 days here at the War College, where civilians not familiar with the military and U.S. Military students and our international fellows can talk about national security affairs and military affairs together. It's a very valuable event. And at a social a couple nights ago, I was able to meet Dr. Julia Ivey, who has 2 PhDs in the fields of management strategy and psychology and is a professor of business at Northeastern University in Boston. But as I was speaking to her, I discovered that she's really excited about a certain way of teaching business to her students. And I think it has resonance with the themes that we're trying to advance here in this series, which is that strategy is performance. Strategy is practice. It's not simply a discipline. It's not simply like history where we read it and then we're good at it. We actually have to do things to become better at it. So Dr. Julia Ivey, thanks for being on the YouTube series.
My pleasure.
Tell me about your students.
In the business school, I work for the group of strategy and international business. So I teach capstone courses and the graduate courses in these 2 disciplines. And Northeastern is a special college, special university. We are very much employer-centered. So everything what we do, it must bring value for the future employers. And this is the kind of paradigm of everything. So my students are highly accomplished. They already have, even undergrad students, they have co-op programs in the top companies of United States, and my master students, they all have experience and they're all managers in their own companies.
Okay, so here at the War College, our normal teaching method is to have the students read some text, like an article or a book, and then we come to class the next day and we discuss it, and we kind of rinse and repeat with the same method. How do you mix up your teaching at Northeastern?
It's when students, as more they become mature through the program, as more we focused on practice-oriented courses. They must be experiential learning. So at the beginning of the program, there is more discussion and learning and tests, etc. However, as older students become, as more they demand more diversity of the methods. Of course, we solve cases. We do experiential learning, again, programs for service learning, for real organizations in Boston and around. And each of them, they have to be placed in real companies and solve real problems. And this is what they want.
Wonderful. And what are the steps of this method that you're advancing at Northeastern?
My methods is mostly focused on connecting students with their next employers. When they're still students in the classroom, they're still there, they're still in a very secure environment with me helping them or other faculty helping them. Besides, they have other brightest minds around them. They already started to think how to connect and how to add value to their own future companies. If they already have employer, they connect to their particular employer. If they don't, they target a desirable employer. So the step number 1, they defined. The methods is the name of the methods is a edge, edge, yeah, because the main idea is how to self-differentiate at the job market, how to find the edge of your self-differentiation. So step number 1 is elucidate your professional core, and this is where we come that graduates, the brightest people, they can talk hours about their, major in finance, major in international business, major in marketing. Just ask them, it always is about their major. However, when we ask them, what is your core? What is special about you? What area of expertise you want to be known for? They're not ready sometimes for this question. So step number 1 is elucidate your professional core and define what area of expertise and what kind of organization you will work or want to work. When they define this, they connect their future employer. Again, if they work already, they go 3 steps higher. And if they want to work, they connect with the, with the key people in their future organization with the goal to develop trust. So this is a D in the methods, develop trust. They contact them and they say, I'm students, which is a magic word. I'm a student. I do my final project for my course in strategy. Could you please allow me to do a project for your company? 99% they say they receive yes. So they learn about their future organization. They talk with people. They ask what issues this organization face right now, and they develop a story, a case for this organization. Collecting all the data about the company, about the environment, about the industry, etc. The very process of collecting data and talking with employees already make them like one of us for these companies. So they're already ahead of crowd. Everybody else is just graduate. They're already one of us for this company. And this is bingo, developing trust, step number 2. After they develop trust, step number 3, it's actually they're solving the case they just investigated. They change the head from the researcher who gathered all the information, listening to people, to the consultants who actually bring value. And this is stage number 3, generate value. So at the end, they have 2 very serious documents. Document number 1 is a case for this company. They're making their own case for the company they want to be contacted. And by the way, these cases become winners of global competitions, and students allow me, and I'd love to use their own cases in my future classes. Their names become known because they're published authors of the cases about the organization, if the organization, of course, give us permission. The second document is consulting report, which the companies are very much excited. So this is the last stage of the methods. It's excite your future employer with a company case. So EDGE methods, elucidate your professional core, develop trust, generate value, and excite with a company case.
That's terrific. So throughout military education, many professors are familiar with case studies.
Yes.
Would you differentiate between what you're talking about here with EDGE and case studies the way most people understand them?
It's not just military education. Case study is absolutely wonderful methods, and I believe it's more applicable methods, maybe just the general discussion of concepts, etc. So in a traditional case study, students receive cases from, collection of Harvard business cases, Ivy business cases, etc. There are many different collections, and these cases are written for them by professional case writers, most of them about well-known companies, Tesla and its international strategy, or Starbucks and its professional portfolio, etc., etc., etc. It's all usually big names companies. The problem, the limit of these methods is what is here for student. Yes, they learn how to solve problems, which is good. They know about this organization, which are perfect. However, what kind of value they bring to these companies? The companies don't care about the opinion of my students. Even if my students might be brilliant and they might find amazing solution, they don't add value to the company. Second, how it helped my students to advance in the job market. The company don't even know how brilliant my students, my students don't develop trust within the company. So the difference of EDGE methods, my students make their own cases. They are case writers, but they're very selective what kind of case they want to make, the case which relate to their own professional core. Then they develop the case by themselves instead of reading somebody's case, and then they solve the case. So this is a major difference.
That's superb. I think the focus that you have with EDGE and what I'm trying to advocate here is that we focus routinely on real-world problems. They were problem solvers first and foremost, and I think there's a resonance there. What role does research play on the part of the students for their work?
And this is the most important part, because students, they're sometimes too smart, too fast, and you give them the problem and they're ready to solve it immediately. And every time I say them, slow down. It's like you come to the doctor, and doctor first, measure your temperature, ask your symptoms, and ask what's the problem, why you came even here. And that's why the first, as you remember, develop trust is how to collect data. Collect data about the company, asking what the challenges the company faces. Instead of me solving whatever problem I think about, I want to solve the problem of the company. So you have to research of these problems. Second, you have to understand the company. Instead of being naive and offering solution which company already tried 5 times and they all failed, I have to learn about the organization much better. I have to collect data inside of the organization. The most interesting for students also to go outside and collect data about industries and about the region. So I have a case about Bluebird company in Indonesia. Nobody knows about Indonesia and Bluebird company. Do you know about the company?
I sure don't.
Me too. I didn't know about this until my students did all this research. So they first talked, they found all the challenges what the company faces. They learned about the company, then about the Indonesia and the whole industry on taxi in Indonesia. The same case about HC Security and Investment from Egypt. Do I know about this company? I didn't. But students did all the research and they developed the case for the company, which the company is happy to use for their own public relations and for their own training in the company.
This emphasis you put on the students doing their own research on real world problems is I think, magnificent and something that's fruitful.
So and this research, I train them not to be academic research. It must be very, very deep, but it's practitioner-based research. They must be very focused on the dilemma they are solving. They have real life problem to solve. They have to find all the data they need to solve this specific problem. And I do not encourage them to give, general discussions of what if, what how, etc. As long as you are solving the problem, this is the data you have to find.
Oh, that's wonderful. So this is the third day of National Security Seminar Week. You've had a chance to see several guest speakers and engage with the students here at the War College. Tell me, what do you think of the students here, and do you think that EDGE or the principles that underlie it might be useful here?
First of all, students, they are amazing. I mean, the only problem I have to call them students, because they are so distinguished practitioners in their own field. They are leaders already. So that's why they can, the level of this, the caliber of the students is so high that I want them to contribute even back to the program. So look at, of the people, and of course I know there is no attribution rule in this program. So one of them, for instance, will work in the, like branch A in the country B. He can solve already, he can start solving already the problem of that branch in that country using, collecting data for this specific region and this specific branch while he's still here, developing trust with that people, but also involving his faculty, you, for instance, and his other, comrades in this group to solve this problem even when he is still here. Just imagine how amazing it would be for him to already, building a bridge with his future space for employment while still capitalizing all this brain power we have here in the War College. So I think this combination of amazing level of faculty and how devoted faculty are to these students and the caliber of students just will make these methods just naturally born here.
Well, Julia, thank you very much for your time. It's been wonderful, and I think you have some terrific insights for how to educate practitioners. And thank you very much. Thanks, and see you on the next episode of Strategy is Performance.
Thank you very much.